The Many Saints of Newark. This is a prequel to the TV show The Sopranos. It was directed by Alan Taylor, who did actually direct some episodes of that show. And this movie was marketed as a somewhat origin story for the character of Tony Soprano. And just getting right off the bat, that is not at all what this movie is. I don't know why the trailers made it out to be like that in any way. But this movie is much more about the character named Dickie, who is Tony's uncle, I believe, and he's played by Alessandro Nivola. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, this movie is way much more about him and a lot less about Tony, at least than I anticipated it being. And I would try to sum up the plot, but I mean, there really isn't much of one. This movie, at least with regards to its storytelling, was sort of a mess. There really isn't a whole lot of structure to the way that the story has come together in this one. The most structure that the plot does have with this movie is the fact that it goes in chronological order. I mean, other than that, it's very sporadic. It's really just a bunch of different things that are happening, bunch of different subplots that are going on, and a lot of which I really didn't care for that much. If I'm just like jumping right into my issues with this movie, there were a lot of things that they chose to focus on with certain characters that I just didn't care about. I didn't find it that interesting. Certainly not quite as compelling as what was happening with Dickie and Tony. Those two characters and their roles in this movie were easily my favorite parts about it. I thought Alessandro Nivola did a really good job in the movie. Like I said, he is the star, he's the main guy, and he was great. His character was easily the most fleshed out of pretty much everyone in the entire movie. The actress who played the young Tony Soprano I thought did a good job as well. We have William, I assume it's probably Ludwig, if it's spelled out like Ludwig, but he was good. He played the, I'm assuming maybe about 10 years old version of Tony Soprano. And then we have Michael Gandolfini playing Tony Soprano when he's about 16, 17, 18 in his high school years. Who, if you don't know, is the son of James Gandolfini, who played Tony Soprano in the TV show, which is awesome. I think that's so cool that he's taken on this role, following in his father's footsteps, rest in peace. And he does a very good job. He's, like I said, one of the standouts in this movie with his character and his performance. And I just wish that we got more of him. You know, I really thought that he was going to be like the main character in this movie. The way that it was marketed was this kind of origin story. And I mean, he's only in the movie for like maybe 15 to 20 minutes or so. I don't know. He could have used a lot more screen time, I think. I thought Ray Liotta did a pretty good job as well. He plays actually these twin brothers, one of which is the father to Dickie in the film, and he was good. I would say another standout was probably Vera Farmiga as Tony's mother. I mean, the acting all around was good. Everyone played their part well. I could go down the list, but I mean, everyone was good. But unfortunately, just a lot of the characters in this film, like, I didn't give a crap about what was going on with them and what they were having to deal with. Unless it was Dickie or Tony, I just didn't care. It was hard to really feel that invested in a lot of what was happening with this film. And I think that might also have to do with the fact that a lot of the so-called drama that comes up in this film is very interchangeable. It's a lot of like, this person said this about this person, or this person did this to this person. I don't have, I would say, the best knowledge of mafia movies. I would say I have seen a good amount to have an idea of the type of stakes that come up with these movies. And this movie, to me, just really lacks those stakes. And a lot of the drama that occurs didn't feel like it really fit with this type of mafia movie. But I'm really getting ahead of myself here. I don't know why I just like dove right into my issues with it. There were things I did like about this movie. Like I have said, I liked some of the acting and some of the characters I thought were well written and well done. The movie does utilize its time period very well. It's pretty much all set in the 60s and 70s, and it did do a good job at making you feel like you were in that time. It's a beautiful looking movie. I think that the cinematography by Kramer Morgenthau was excellent. There's this one scene where these characters are on a beach, and like just the look of that whole scene, the aesthetic with the ocean, and also with the sound of it. This movie has really good sound. And going back to the sound, there are moments in this movie, as you can expect when you're walking into a mob movie, there are moments where there are sort of these gunfights. Those were effective as well. They didn't hold back. This movie does get pretty bloody a couple of times. This movie did have stuff that I liked about it, but it also had a good amount that I didn't like about it and I thought could have been improved. It was all in all a pretty big mixed bag for me. And I know that this isn't the actual film's fault, but a good amount of my frustration with it does have to do with the marketing, just because it's so misleading. It's not at all. The official trailer, whatever I don't know if that was the one I saw in the theater, it's completely misleading for how this movie turns out. It builds it up to be this, like I said, origin story of Tony Soprano. The way that the trailer plays out is as if we're seeing like the birth of Tony Soprano, or at least the birth of the Tony Soprano that we came to see in the show The Sopranos. And it just wasn't like that at all. I mean, it's all about Dickie. There are a couple moments when Tony does develop some angst a bit, but I mean, for the most part, he's a relatively innocent kid and teenager. You know, at least compared to how he would eventually turn out when he becomes an adult. And so yeah, just the marketing was a big letdown with this one. There were things I liked, and there were things I didn't. Just like with every movie I watch, I didn't think it was terrible, but I didn't really think it was great either. So I'm going to kind of settle in the middle, and I'm going to give the Many Saints of Newark a C+. And if anyone's curious, here's a little breakdown of how my rating system works. As always, let me know what you think in the comments if you have seen this movie, or how do you feel about the show The Sopranos. And that's all I got, guys. Thank you for watching. Take it easy. Peace out.